Assalamu alaikum students. I am Aisha Anwar. I hope all of you are fine and enjoying your programming classes. In previous lecture, we have started chapter number 3, which is about object-oriented programming in C++. In previous lecture, we have studied about the program and its structure. In today's lecture, we are going to revise some important concepts and we are going to learn about reserved words and comments in C++. So let's start today's lecture. Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming. Okay, dear students, in previous lecture, we have discussed the introduction of a C language. We discussed that C++ is a general-purpose programming language. It was created at Bell Laboratories in early 1980s. Its main purpose was to make good programs easier and more pleasant. And it uses and supports modern programming techniques. That's why it is used for high performance commercial software creation, development of games, and graphic related programs. It is the very basic and very easy language. Once we learn C++, then we can easily learn other high-level languages that are available. When we talk about computer programming languages, we always talk about computer program. Here, we need to understand what is a computer program. A computer program is the set of instructions that performs a specific task when executed by a computer. A computer program tells the computer what to do and it also tells how to do. Everything a computer does is controlled by a computer program. Even the operating system, all other application software, and all the applications that we use in our mobile phones are developed with the help of programming languages. We write a computer program for each application, software, or game, or any mobile application. When we run that program or when we execute that program, it will perform the specific task that is defined in the program by the programmer. A programmer is a person who has in-depth knowledge of a programming languages and he is expert and he knows programming languages, so he creates the programs. There are many high-level languages available such as Visual Basic, Pascal, Java, C++, ASP, C Sharp, Python, and there are so many languages. So Here is a structure of a C++ program. Every C++ program has this same structure. First of all, it includes the header file. The first statement of every program is the header file. This is the name of a header file, and this .h is the extension which shows that the IO stream is a header file. This header file is included with the help of preprocessor directive. This hash include is the preprocessor directive. After header files, the main function comes. Every C++ program must include a main function. If there is no main function, then there will definitely be a error. So this is the main function. Then this opening parenthesis or opening curly bracket is the start of a body or a start of a C++ program. After the start of a body, we write the lines, and those lines are known as the body of a C++ program. A body of a C++ program can contain sometimes tens and hundreds and even thousands of lines for a single program. And a C++ program ends with this closing of a curly bracket. And the last one is the preprocessor directive, that is hash include, that we have discussed. Now, as we have discussed that every C++ program contains header files, so what is a header file? A header file contains information that is required by the program. For example, in this previous slide, this is the header file. We have used the word cout. What is this cout? What it has to do? All this definition is stored in this header file, and its name is iostream.h. I means input and O is for output. Choose input, output, stream. So what is the function of a cout and what it is supposed to do is all written in a header file named iostream.h. If I have to use this cout in my program, then I must include this header file. If I will not include this header file, an error message will be displayed on the screen. So the header files are the files which include the information which is required by the program, like cout, and there are so many other things. And a header file has the extension .h. This .h extension shows that a particular file is the header file. Some commonly used header files are iostream.h, conio.h, and math.h. And there are some other header files also available. For example, if we have to use or we have to do some graphic works in C++, then we have to include some other header files. This header file math.h contains the functions that are related to mathematics. For example, to finding out the square root. The preprocessor directive is used to include a header file at the beginning of a program. As you have seen in the previous slides, like this one, we have discussed that this is the preprocessor directive and it is used to include the header file. Preprocessor directive is not a normal program instruction to be executed by the CPU, but it is a code for the compiler to include a header file. Whenever compiler sees an instruction starting with this hash symbol, the compiler understands that this instruction is for the compiler and it is not a part of a program. So the syntax of a preprocessor directive to include a header file is like this: hash symbol, then reserve word include. Reserve word means the word include will be used as it is. We cannot make any changes. I cannot even write it in capital letters. It will give me an error message. I will write it as hash include, and within this angle bracket, I will write the name of a header file. Just like this, in the previous example, hash include iostream.h or hash include conio.h or hash include math.h. The next concept is statement terminator. The semicolon is placed at the end of a C++ program lines, and this semicolon shows the end of the statement. It marks the termination of a line, which means that this line is finished over here. After whatever written after this line will be considered as the next instruction or the next line of a program. So in C++, a semicolon is a statement terminator. It marks the end of a statement. Just like this, we have discussed in the example. If this semicolon is missing, the compiler will give the syntax error number and also it will display the message that semicolon is missing. You can try it on Dev C++. You can write a simple program to display a simple line like cout information technology, or simply write down any message like your name or class second year or anything, and just skip this semicolon and compile that program and see what will it display to you. Try it and share your screenshots with me. From here onwards, we are going to start today's lecture. Today, we are going to cover two more new concepts, which are about reserve words and comments in C++. Reserve words are the special words which are reserved by the programming language for a specific purpose in a program. It is just like that, like some other languages, like in English language, we have a dictionary which contains different words and each word has its own meaning. We cannot use a single word with some other meaning. It will be wrong. In the same way, a programming language has its own vocabulary, and that vocabulary is known as reserve word. Those reserved words have predefined meaning, that this word is used for this, like cout has a specific purpose, so cout is a reserve word. Cin is also has a specific purpose, so cin is also a reserve word. Even main is also a reserve word because it is reserved for some specific use and it cannot be used by some other way. These reserved words cannot be used as variable names. We will study the concept of variables in the next lecture, and after that lecture you will be more clear about it. There are so many reserved words like if, void, break, while, case, character, and so on. There's a long list we will discuss. It is coming in next slide. All the reserved words of C++ language are written in lowercase letter. If I will write them in capital letters, that will also be our error. So we have to be very careful while writing the reserved words. There are about 80 reserved words in C++, but this may vary or this may differ depending upon the version of a compiler that is being used. For example, if someone is using dev C++, the number of reserved words may vary from the other compiler like Turbo C or Visual C. Here is a list of reserved words of C++ language. This is a long list. Simply just let's go through them. Like else, if, namespace. You must be familiar with the reserved word namespace right now. And you are also familiar with the reserved word like cout and cin and main, and there are, and it is the complete list of the reserved words. Each and every reserved word has its own very specific meaning, and it cannot be used for some other purposes. The next part of today's lecture is the comments in C++. So, what are the comments? Comments are the explanatory statements that help the reader in understanding the source code. And all the programming languages allow the comments in programs. These comments can be entered at any location of a program. We can write a comment in beginning, in middle, and in the end of a program according to the requirement. These comments are ignored during program execution, which means they are not the executable statements. Basically, comments are used to write a small description about a program or about some specific statement. If we write down a small description of a program in the beginning, it will be very easy for the programmer to open up the program and before going through the complete program, he will know what this program is about to do just because of the commands that are included in the beginning of the program. So it makes the job easier for us. In C++, two types of comments are used. They are single line comments and multiple line comments. So single line comments start with the double slash symbol and continue till the end of a line. For example, here you can see this double slash symbol, and after this double slash symbol, a statement is written like this is a very simple C++ program, which means that it is a comment and it is not a executable line. Compiler will ignore this line. This line is just an explanatory statement. Here we have written a comment in the beginning of a program, and we have added another comment within the body of a program. Like this is the body of a program, cout, information technology, and this is the explanatory comment about this statement or this instruction. The comment says that it prints a message on the screen, means this cout line will print a message on the screen. The other type of commands that are used in C++ are multiple line commands, and they are a little bit different from single line command. They start with this slash and * symbol. This shows the beginning of a command and this shows the ending of a command. Here we put the * symbol first and then slash, and in beginning we first put slash and then we put *. These symbols are also used to enter a single line comments. For example, this is a single line comment and we have used these symbols which are used for multiple line comments. You can use this. It is allowed in C++. Here is another example that shows the multiple line comments in C++. You can see that first 3 lines are the multiple line comments, and this comment says, this is my first C++ program. It demonstrates the structure of a C++ program. You can see that we have just put a symbol over here to start a comment and end symbol over here to end the comment. So instead of using single line comment on every line, it makes our job easier that we simply have to use the symbol 2 times and we will write as much as we can inside the comments. And after the comment, this is the C++ program. We can also use this multiple line comments within the body of a program. In some cases, when we don't want to execute a statement of a program, we can also make it comment. Like for example, if I will put a / over here, then this line will also become non-executable because now it is considered as comments because of the / symbol in the beginning of a line. When programmers are writing the long programs, they write different lines and they checks the working. So instead of erasing the complete program or write the new lines, they simply make the old code of lines comments. They mark them as comment and simply write down the new lines. It makes their job easier. So here is the task for today's lecture. You simply have to write down a program to display a message, practice of comments in C++, and you have to use the single line and multiple line comments in that program. So that's all for today. If you are having any confusion, you can ask me anytime. Thank you.